In this video, I want to show you how to play and practice sweeping the right way. Now, in this video, I mainly want to focus on showing you how to practice and the correct positioning of a sweep. All right, so I'm going to take this example here of a sweeping pattern that's a very common one. And the first thing is I want to go through exactly what the frets are. So this is a B minor sweep, and then what I'm doing is I'm on the 14th fret of the 5th string. I'm going to hit that. Then I'm on the 12th fret of the 4th string, on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. Then I'm on the 12th fret of the 2nd string, the 10th fret of the 1st. I'm going to go to the 14th, back to the 10th, and then I'm just going to reverse it. 12th fret of the 2nd, 11th fret of the 3rd, 12th fret of the 4th, and then back to the 14th fret of the 5th string. Now, what I want to do is show you a way to think about methodically going through and practicing this so you can get any sweeping pattern down. It's not just about this one. It's so that no matter what sweeping pattern you're doing, and honestly, whatever lick you're doing, you understand a good method to practice it. Now, the first thing that I like to do when I'm learning something is to isolate my hands and make sure that everything is perfect in each hand. So in the left hand, the things that I'm looking for is first off my thumb position. I want it behind the guitar, and I want my hands to look like I'm holding a hamburger. If my thumb is high, then that's going to limit my flexibility. Now, if you're thinking, well, I see a lot of guitar players with their thumbs up, you absolutely can learn sweeping patterns to be perfect with your thumb high. The only problem is that it's harder, and it's going to take a lot longer to get it down. I want to do things in the easiest way possible. So I like to keep my thumb down behind so that I have a lot of flexibility in my fingers. The next thing that I want to look out for is, are my fingers moving as efficiently as possible? Are they coming up a lot? Is there a lot of unnecessary movement in these fingers? So I'm going to do just left hand, and then I am going to just watch them and babysit them to make sure that they're doing the right thing. You want to make sure that you're using your fingertips here. All right. Now, one thing also that I want to do is focus on string noise. So I'm not using my fingertips like this. What I want to do is I want to control the strings from ringing out when I hit them, right? So what I do is I have them, I'm using my fingertips, but they're angled a little bit further down so that I am touching the other strings. Like for example here, when I place my pinky here, my pinky is hitting the 5th string, but it's also muting all these other strings. Now, if you mute a lot with the right hand, that's okay too, but the right hand can only mute the strings that are lower than what you're playing. You're not going to put your hand here and then sweep and try to miss it. That doesn't make any sense. So the left hand has to control. So my pinky is low, and it's okay if it's not muting like the 3rd string or the 2nd or 1st as well. You just want to mute the surrounding ones. So that 4th is muted. Then I put the middle down. It's touching this and also the 3rd string to mute it. The 1st comes down, muting that. The middle comes down. So I have good movement, but I'm also muting strings that I don't want to ring out in case that I accidentally hit it. And then you just practice this for a while. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand and you're going to mute all of the strings, and you're going to watch the right. Now, a sweeping motion, what you want to do is you want to have a straight strum, like you're strumming a chord kind of, all right? It's not so much movement, but it's just like this. Now, what I do is I don't have my pick completely flat on the strings. I have it tilted forward, not backwards, tilted forward a little bit, okay? And to explain this in a more dramatic sense, if I take the pick and I do it completely like this, sideways, and I go through, it's going to go slice through the strings a lot easier than if I'm flat because there's less surface area. So instead of doing it this, because this is too much, I just tilt it a little bit forward, and now it's going to slide through the strings with a lot less friction. So the pick is going good, but if you notice, a lot of it is coming from the arm, not the wrist. So I'm not doing this, because by the time I get to the 1st string, I'm all the way over here and in a very uncomfortable position. So the sweep is just like that. Now the other thing that I do is I also have string control in my right hand as well. So there's two ways you can do this. You can do what's called thumb muting, that I do a lot, is where the thumb is just going to lay on the strings lower. That way, you're going to have these muted. Or you can do it with your palm. I have seen great guitar players do both. And in my opinion, you can do either. I kind of do a mixture of both, but I find thumb picking to a lot of the times be a little bit easier. So now you've isolated the hands, okay? And you've made sure they're all perfect. The thumb is in the right place and so on. Then what you're going to do is you're going to play this one note at a time. So first thing you're going to do for the sweeping pattern is you're going to hit this once. And you're going to make sure it was that perfect. Then you're going to have 2. Was that right? Then 3. You're just thinking, am I still efficient? Are my hands moving the same way they did when I isolated them? Is there any unwanted string noise? Another thing that I didn't mention is you want to make sure that you're only pressing down just hard enough, not too hard. You don't want excess tension. So are you relaxed? Are your shoulders relaxed? Legs relaxed? Arms relaxed? Fingers relaxed? Everything. Then you add the next one. If you see there, a lot of the times there was some string noise happening. So then you just adjust. And you just keep going until you get to the very end of the sweep. Then, once you have the sweep clean, you then want to take it to a metronome and start tracking your speed. And I'll make another video on how to actually increase your speed in a really good way, but this is a really good methodical approach to being able to get your sweeping perfectly, right? So many people just try to learn it and they do it all at once, and then it's a sloppy mess, and the progress is so slow people give up. If you just take a moment to reduce the amount of things you're trying to do, you'll actually learn faster. All of the progress that we experience on the guitar happens in our brains first. So if you're overloading your brain with all this data and all of these things that it needs to focus on, it's not going to be able to really sink it all in, at least not for a long time. But if you just do one action, and you get your brain to really focus on that and memorize that, then another action, then another, you'll actually move along the process a lot faster. But this is how I approach sweeping, how I coach all of my students on sweeping, and I hope that you got a lot out of it. And if you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe so you can get more tips on how to play the guitar in the best way possible. But again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you at the next one.